Welcome, everyone, to the Newvision Oldways podcast, a greatly ambitious journey of discovery where we can all learn to live better, mentally healthier, and more fulfilling lives. If you're just discovering us, feel free to go back and take the journey from the beginning. And if you're already a Newvision Oldways fan, welcome back and enjoy season
6.
And now, here is your host, Tony Marinaccio.
You are listening to Newvision Oldways, the podcast that explores timeless wisdom for the modern mind in a fun, relaxed, and most important, interactive way with you, the listener. I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and let's get the episode started. Welcome, everyone, to another great episode of the Newvision Oldways podcast. And as the intro stated, I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and I want to also welcome you to Season 6. I love it. 5 seasons under our belts, and we are just getting started. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. And if you have not been able to get to the newvisionoldways.com website, you are missing out a bit. All of the episodes are there, along with the Revelations blog and news page, where you can get all the articles, not only related to the episodes, but much, much more. And coming soon, my friends, the long-awaited and asked for Visioneers Journal newsletter, the official newsletter of this podcast. To get it to you, you can click on the subscription link on the website or look in the show notes. I will have it there as well. It is free, and my pledge to you is to give you as much great content as I can. I am mainly a team of one. Yes, one. Everything you hear and see is written, engineered, and produced by yours truly. I say that because I cannot promise I will get the newsletter out every week, but that is the goal when possible. I will need to rest my weary fingers once in a while, but I will be as consistent as I can. Why? Because you, my fellow Visioneers, deserve nothing less than my best effort. There is a support link in the show notes as well and on the website. So if you see the value in what Newvision Oldways is doing, please donate if you can. These episodes take a lot of time, research, energy, and yes, equipment to bring it all to you. So believe me, it will be appreciated. Of course, you can cancel at any time. Now, after all of that, what is on tap for this episode? It struck me recently that we are back at the time of year when so many of us get that winter holiday blues. Days are shorter, nights are longer, and if you're like me, you look at your watch at 7 p.m. thinking it feels like 10 p.m. and I'm ready for bed. Now, there are obvious reasons why we feel that way, but does it always have to lead to moping around for several months with a feeling of depression, anxiety, fatigue, all while packing on the pounds and promising when the weather gets better, I'll really ramp up my exercise? After the first, I'll start dieting and working out. I'll use that gym membership I've been paying for and used 3 times last year. I swear, next year will be my year. Well, folks, I think we all know what actually happens. We stay feeling tired, depressed, and angry at ourselves for letting it all get worse than we expected. The pounds we packed on were more than we thought they would be. The depression came and went like a roller coaster. And now, feeling like, how do we get out of this? Or worse, just accept the new, bigger, more miserable you. Well, Visioneers, this time it's going to be different. And you might say, yeah, I've heard that before. But if you listen to this entire show, you will be prepared to not only survive the upcoming winter months and holiday season, but you will thrive and blast into spring with a high velocity momentum like never before. How? Well, there is no better time to find out than right now. So let's start Season 6 with a bang by diving into episode 52, Turn the Winter Blues into Fuel, Small Daily Habits That Change Everything. Every year, many of us fall back with the clocks around the end of October. The days suddenly are shorter and the nights get longer, that dreaded time of year when many of us leave for work in the dark and come home in the dark. Daylight is seen through office windows, storefronts, drive-through windows. We know it's there, but rarely do we actually feel what little sun there is on our faces during the day. The cold sharpens, jackets and sweatshirts all come out, trees stand bare, streets are wet, slushy in many areas. Life slows down. TVs are on longer, and even taking the dog out is a chore. Pretty much sounds bleak, right? But for some, this season ushers in coziness, warm blankets, hot drinks, and twinkling lights. We may think of these are the few, the lucky ones, who somehow see the positive in all of this. Yet for the seemingly unlucky ones, this time brings anxiety, depression, melancholy, feelings of being overwhelmed, or an unexplainable heaviness on their shoulders they just cannot seem to shake. Those difficult feelings I just mentioned are real, and you are not imagining them. I know this all too well. I have felt them more times than I care to mention. What happens this time of year is unavoidable. We can't stop winter setting in, and your body, it is responding to real, measurable, natural changes. As daylight dwindles, your exposure to UV light decreases, and your brain makes adjustments. Your pineal gland, located deep in the center of your brain, produces more melatonin, preparing you for longer nights and decreased sunlight. Well, that affects serotonin, the chemical associated with mood and well-being. This decrease in serotonin, which does, again, regulate mood, can be directly linked to what is called the seasonal affective disorder cycle. And yes, it affects millions of people worldwide each winter. Now, back in my younger days, I would have told you anyone complaining about all of this to toughen up, get over it, stop being a baby. But you got to remember, I played a lot of hockey back then, took a few pucks to the head, and maybe a few elbows too. And as the years rolled on and regular life took over, I realized that this is real. I realized it was happening to me, and it got worse year after year. Seasonal affective disorder cycle often shows up as fatigue, irritability, a desire to isolate, increased craving for carbohydrates, and that's a biggie, folks. And all of this results in depression and anxiety. Then, if all of that wasn't enough, there is the added psychological layer of the dreaded holidays, a season marketed to us as a time of joy, family, abundance, and celebration, along with endless Hallmark Channel Christmas movies that are all so different. But that's not everyone's reality, is it? Many people are grieving. Some don't have any family to gather with. Some have strained relationships, and some, probably many, are facing real financial hardships. Others simply find the pace and the expectations of this time of year to be exhausting and overwhelming. And nowadays, layered on top of that is the consistent barrage of curated perfection we see on social media. We scroll through other people's best moments and compare them to our unfiltered lives. So here is where we start to see how the old ways wisdom slides in like I did when I was a kid sliding down the Chestnut Ridge Park toboggan chutes. The locals know what I mean. These struggles we are feeling are not new to this world. Throughout history, our ancestors understood the profound power and demands of winter. The ancient Greeks believed in the idea of kairos, that divine moment in time when change happens, often provoked by quiet and darkness. Kairos can be viewed as the right or critical moment, a moment not to be dreaded, but a moment to lean into the darkness, and is exactly the right moment to do something, the right time to be brave. Kairos is what makes someone wise. It's learning when we need to act, not slow down and shy away from life. Life doesn't stop when we are grieving or exhausted. It doesn't pause when we feel lost or like we can't go on. It keeps moving forward. It doesn't mean you have to go full speed ahead at all times and ignore the issues. It means that the longer you keep the dark times blinders on, you will probably miss things that could have changed your life for the better. So here are some tried and true beliefs that are still perfect for the modern world. The Stoics practice premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. The idea that foreseeing difficulty wasn't being negative, but being prepared to look directly at what might be difficult and adapting to and overcoming it. The great transcendentalist Henry David Thoreau wrote, "Live each season as it passes. Breathe the air, drink the drink, taste the fruit, and resign yourself to the influence of the earth." Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching tells us, because she does not compete, she does not meet competition, referring to focusing on one's own path and growth rather than on competing with others. It emphasizes internal progress over external validation. Take that, social media. I love how the old ways teach us all how to have a new vision. Winter is historically a time of surrender, not resignation. Surrender in the sense of hopeful release of resistance to what is. While resignation is a passive, defeatist, giving up on a situation or outcome, surrender in this case allows us to listen to what life is asking of us. A time when stillness becomes a teacher and our inner voice becomes heard. In agricultural societies, winter was for reflection. The earth rested, families gathered by firelight to share stories, tools were sharpened, seeds were prepared for spring. We too, spiritually, emotionally, entered into an internal winter, a time to step back, a time to discover what is essential, not so we can merely survive, but so we can emerge renewed. So how, in this sometimes insane, wacky world that we live in, do we get back to a sense of discovery and renewal at a time when it seems like everything, including the news, seems so dark and cold? It all comes down to what the Stoics firmly believed in, having a knowledge and awareness of distinguishing between what you can and cannot control, and focusing your energy solely on your own thoughts, actions, and reactions. Our self-regulation, if you will. We cannot control how much daylight there is, or how cold it is, or sometimes how much family you have around. But when we actively seek and understand what we can control, then these difficult times can turn into opportunities for real growth, for real learning, and yes, real love for ourselves, which leads directly to real happiness.
Happy winter solstice, everyone! Today it's below freezing, but I still wanted to come outside because you just gotta get outside in the winter. In the Northern Hemisphere, December 21st is the darkest day of the year. The sun shines for the least amount of time and the night is the longest. And every day from here on out is going to have about 90 more seconds of daylight. So little by little, the Northern Hemisphere is going to get lighter and brighter. And before you know it, summer will have arrived. And I like to think of that as an analogy for our lives. Little changes like that, one new skill or one new way of thinking, just like those 90 extra seconds of daylight, that can create a huge difference over time in our lives.
That was, once again, Emma McAdam on this podcast, and I so agree with her perspective on the small, gradual changes that can make all the difference in the world. So how do we make those changes and turn those winter and holiday blues into a time of progress, happiness, and a focused wisdom of what our lives can and will become? Well, again, control the things we can control. So what are those things? Some are easy and obvious, yet still ignored. Some are more thought-provoking and full of effort, but also results. So let's start easy. If you are able, find time, especially in the morning, to get outside and experience some daylight. Obviously, schedule permitting, but do what you can to get some daylight time. Get up earlier or get to work early and take a walk, anything, but get that daylight on your face. Even on a cloudy, cold winter day, natural light exposure helps anchor your circadian rhythm. Now, you may ask, hey, Tone, what is my circadian rhythm? Well, that's a great question. It's the body's 24-hour internal clock that regulates cycles of alertness and sleepiness and is influenced by light or dark. A healthy circadian rhythm is crucial for overall health and can be disrupted by factors like inconsistent sleep schedules, jet lag, and exposure to artificial light at night. Explains a lot, right? If you cannot get any daylight time, consider getting a light therapy lamp, especially if you spend a lot of time indoors. Once a day for at least 20-30 minutes, facing the lamp can radically shift your mood and energy levels. Just think about when it's heading towards springtime and the days are noticeably longer and how that feels. A light therapy lamp, if used regularly, can at the very least give your mind, body, and soul that lift you need during those long, cold winter nights. And they are not very expensive, but they are well worth it. Now, let's get to something that usually falls into that New Year's resolution thing we abandon shortly after the first. And that's the power of exercise. Movement is medicine. It really is. Remember the old saying, an object in motion stays in motion? Well, the same theory can easily be applied to humans. Movement is so important. It naturally increases dopamine and serotonin. These are both neurotransmitters that, again, help regulate mood and well-being. We have discussed the importance of these in the past, but when you are not moving and just eating and watching TV or scrolling on your phone, the production of these become limited, fleeting, and relatively useless. You become fatigued and ready for bed by 7 p.m. I know for me, morning exercise is the best. It's quiet, I'm more focused at the task at hand, and it gets my blood and my body ready to tackle the day. Usually, I drink a glass of beetroot juice, which opens the blood vessels with nitric oxide, and it also improves lung functions. No need for a cup of coffee for me to get going. Just natural ingredients that your body needs anyway. I can start my day feeling good and not dreading the work ahead, but tackling it with focus and a positive attitude. Even just stretching or yoga is a great way to help the body work out those aches and pains. All of this helps combat the seasonal depression head on. And the best part is, if you do it the entire winter season, that spring body you want, it will already be there. No need to panic in April that you don't have enough time to look good by June. You already did it, and that's an accomplishment. Of course, no amount of working out beats a bad diet. So feed your body well. What we eat sends messages to our body. Heavy on carbs becomes heavy on the bones and clouds the mind. Make it fun. Experiment with what works for you. No one diet solves all of our problems. I have found AI is a friend with this. I subscribe to ChatGPT Pro. And I say that because I have found that building a diet plan based on your situation can be a fun AI adventure. Tweaking recipes, finding alternative foods that are healthy and taste good can be fun if you let it be. I find warm whole foods work for me. Low sodium soups, stews, roasted vegetables can be filling and grounding. Omega-3s support brain health. And this is a biggie, folks. Avoid too much sugar or alcohol. These can destabilize your mood, enhance anxiety and depression, and make those long winter nights seem longer. And you're less willing to get up early and work out, and you see where this is going, pretty much getting you nowhere fast. I'm not saying don't enjoy a drink or two, but understand weekend binging and nightly drinks are not doing your mind, body, and soul any favors. Be very mindful of that, and you will see how much better you will feel. And also, as long as it is doctor approved, try some vitamin D supplements. Helps with that entire lack of sunlight thing we discussed earlier. And speaking of being mindful, yes, I'm bringing it up again. Mindfulness, it can be a life-saving tool in your toolbox if you practice it consistently. Mindfulness can help with the winter holiday blues by encouraging you to be present and engaged with the moment. Shifting perspectives away from negative thoughts about the cold and the dark and the possible holiday chaos. Practices like mindful breathing, gratitude journaling, more on that in a moment, and mindful eating can reduce stress, anxiety, and depression and increase overall emotional resilience. By incorporating mindfulness, you could find a more positive mindset towards the winter season and its unique beauty. I talk about mindfulness a lot. And for good reason. It's an amazing way to declutter the brain and focus on the positive aspects of life rather than on the thought hamster wheel continuously running in your brain. One way to declutter is to journal. I get it. To some, that may sound mundane and possibly ludicrous to others. But if you do it consistently, journaling helps you get those hamster wheel thoughts out of your brain and on paper in front of you. It helps you understand what's really bothering you. I prefer actually writing it myself, not typing. I feel more connected to what's on the page that way. It's more personal and it's right there in front of you. Read it back to yourself and you could be very surprised by what you have written. Write in a stream of consciousness with no filters. Just let it rip. What pours out is your roadmap to a better you. What's been going right, what's been going wrong. And if you listen to that inner voice, it will tell you what you could do to move forward. It could be all there in front of you, very therapeutic, and a great way to bust away from that ridiculous hamster wheel that's been running 24/7. In fact, you may find that the hamster wheel shuts down. Even hamsters need a break once in a while, so come on, give him one. He's tired. Another great thing to do is to try guided meditation once a day. It calms the soul, puts your mind, body, and soul back into balance. Try simple breath work. Even just 5 minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing lowers cortisol levels. Remember, high cortisol levels can contribute to anxiety, weight gain, and other health issues. All of these mindful techniques can be viewed as building rituals for the important mental hygiene. The mind needs clearing and cleaning, just like that snow-covered driveway. Another way to beat those winter holiday blues is to stay active, not only with your body, as we have discussed, but with your mind. It's the perfect time of year to dive into a hobby, an interest, and something that I've believed for my entire life. Try something that you could do by yourself, on your own, that you could do without anyone else around if needed. For me, it's reading, writing, and doing my podcast, of course. For you, it's whatever excites you. Get those brain cells out of hibernation and buzzing. That hobby that you were too busy for in the summer, well, now is the perfect time to tackle that and whatever other projects you have been putting off because you just didn't have the time. Learn that instrument you have been delaying because you're scared you won't be good quickly. Actually read that book that has been on the shelf for a long time, gathering all that dust. Learn to cook great, nutritious meals instead of door dashing. Meditate, pray, whatever stirs your soul. The options are endless. Computer time, phone scrolling, and TV can probably and will melt your brain. Take a digital break and see how it feels to learn that guitar and finish that book and improve that resume, finish that project. A sense of accomplishment can change your outlook in a big way. Never underestimate that. When I finish writing a blog article or one of these episodes, when I listen back to an episode I just recorded, I honestly feel like I conquered the world. The cold, the dark, the gray skies, the slushy ground all cease to exist when I'm plugging along and getting it done. If you really don't want to fly solo on all of these ideas, then seek out a class or friends with similar interests and do it group style. Enjoy the camaraderie and keep it positive at all times. And challenge each other to keep it exciting and interesting. It all makes a huge difference and makes those long nights seem much brighter and much better. So we've talked about how to not just survive, but actually thrive during the winter and holiday season, leaning into the darker days with rituals that ground us, with intentional care for our minds and our bodies, and with courage to create our own light, even when it gets dim outside. But just for a moment, I want to talk about something that can be a difficult subject for many people. In these colder months, when the world feels quieter and the nights stretch longer, we're given a chance to reflect, not just on our habits and our goals, but on our relationships, especially the ones closest to us. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some of us are carrying wounds not caused by the winter's chill, but by something else entirely. The distance we've created with people we once held dear over politics or just random comments made at a dinner table. If you've ever walked away from a family member or close friend because of who they voted for, what they posted online, or what slogan they wear on a shirt, I invite you to pause. Not to debate, but to remember. Remember that time is not guaranteed, nor is reconciliation. And much like the season we're in, relationships do go through cycles. Sometimes cold, sometimes full of life, but they're never beyond repair unless we decide that they are. The opinions we hold today will evolve. The news will change. New headlines will come, and they too will fade. But the people who shared holidays with us, who cheered us on through every season of our lives, they are irreplaceable. Winter is a reminder of impermanence. It shows us that even in a season of starkness, life is quietly preparing to bloom again. It whispers to us that warmth returns, and so can family connection, if we open our hearts. Aldous Huxley once said, if most of us remain ignorant of ourselves, it is because self-knowledge is painful and we prefer the pleasure of illusion. And to me, that statement can mean that it is likely that what you are mad about with that now estranged family member was really you being mad at yourself for who you have become. And the idea that anyone who disagrees with you makes it feel like it reaffirms that self-hatred. So as you move forward this winter, with your morning walks and your journaling rituals, your plans to feel alive instead of stuck, consider this too. Extend warmth, compassion, and mercy where division has chilled the room. Because the freedom we are all chasing, the peace that we seek, is rarely found in being right, but often in being kind. Kind and understanding that you and your opinion isn't all that matters. And that perhaps is the true spirit of thriving at the holiday time, staying human in a world that's trying to make us choose otherwise. So visionaries, as this winter and holiday season approaches, take a step back, look around and in your heart and think about what is important to you, not to the group think, but to you. If you are not where you want to be in life, that's okay, man. It really is. Start that journey to wherever it is that your inner voice is telling you you want to go. Stay positive. Stay true to yourself. Make the hard decisions that you have been putting off. And if you need help, never be afraid to ask for it, for that is where the real courage is in life. Let's enjoy this time of year instead of dreading it. Let's improve ourselves now instead of waiting until next year. The time is perfect right now. Lean into it and enjoy the journey. So, what did you think of this episode or any of the episodes? I would love to find out. And here is where to get a hold of the show and let us know. These are in the show notes, but as always, here they are. There is a link that you can click on that will allow you to donate to the show and show your support. By donating what you can, it will allow me to book guests and cover costs. Anything will help. Of course, cancel at any time. And also, don't forget that the Newvision Oldways website is, of course, up and running. And you can look at that. There's a link in the show notes, or just type in newvisionoldways.com, and it'll take you right there. You can also message the show from each episode on your various platforms. Just look for the send us a text message link. And if that doesn't work for you, you can email us at newvisionoldways@gmail.com, or you can find us on what was Twitter, now X, at Newvision Oldway. Remember, there's no S on that one, at Newvision Oldway. Check the Newvision Oldways YouTube channel. Just type in Newvision, one word, Oldways, one word, and please subscribe. It is free and will show support for the show. It really means a lot and will help grow the show on YouTube. And you can also find us on Facebook, same thing, Newvision Oldways Podcast, and it should take you right there. And as a reminder, these, of course, are still growing platforms for us, and they are expanding all of the time. So we need your help to get the flow going with the community. And last but not least, could you do me a huge favor and subscribe to us, like us, follow us, leave a review on whatever platform you found us on. That would be so appreciated. That will also help secure guests that we will be booking in the future. So welcome to season 6, and I have a lot to cover this season. So thank you for listening. I can't wait to get your input, and I also can't wait until we get together for the next episode of Newvision Oldways. Until then, stay true to yourself, stay informed, and stay empowered.
But the most important thing is,
This episode and all the episodes of Newvision Oldways podcast have been written, engineered, and produced by Tony Marinaccio and TKM Productions.